So today we will talk about the Pradhan Mantri Shra Yogi Maan Dhan scheme. Actually, this is a scheme under the Ministry of Labour and Employment and basically a pension scheme provided after the age of 60. So let's talk about the Pradhan Mantri Shra Yogi Maan Dhan scheme. If you talk about why news, recently the Ministry of Labour and Employment actually launched the Donate a Pension scheme, allowing to pay the premium amount on the behalf of an unorganized worker under the Pradhan Mantri Shra Yogi Maan Dhan scheme. Remember that. So basically, this is basically for the unorganized worker. Unorganized workers basically consist of, if you talk about the day laborer basically and street vendors etc. This kind of unorganized sector which is basically not in the formal sector, known as the unorganized sector. So remember that if you talk about, now this is a donate a pension scheme. So anyone who want to pay a premium on the behalf of this unorganized worker, basically they have the power to donate that premium amount, and which consists of around 650 to 2400 nearly a year. So this is a premium amount. If you talk about the Pradhan Mantri Shra Yogi Maan Dhan features, then remember that it is a central sector scheme and launched in 2019. Now what do you mean by the central sector scheme? Because it is fully funded by the central government and that's why known as the central sector scheme, and on the basis of the 50-50 if you talk about, means the 50 is given by the unorganized worker which is actually included in the Shra Yogi Maan Dhan scheme, and another 50% is given by the central government. Remember that, and there is a no role of a state government if you talk about. If you talk about, it comes under the Ministry of Labour and Employment and implementation through the LIC, means the Life Insurance Corporation of India and Common Services Center. Remember that. So it comes under the Ministry of Labour and Employment is very important point if you talk about. Now further if you talk about, LIC will be the pension fund manager, means everything which is given by the unorganized workers will go to the LIC and responsible basically for the pension payout after the age of 60. Remember that. If you talk about who are the actually persons which is eligible for under the Pradhan Mantri Shra Yogi Maan Dhan Yojana, then remember that as I have already told you, organized worker basically which consists of home based worker, street vendors, midday meal workers, head laborers, landed laborers and the similar other occupation, but there is an income criteria. Remember that whose monthly income is less than either the 15,000 or 15,000. This is very important point if you talk about. Remember that. What is the entry age group? If you talk about, entry age group is from the 18 years to 40 years. Remember that. If you talk about the required a bank account, mobile phone and the Aadhaar number basically to avail the benefits of scheme if you talk about. Another, if you talk about the Pradhan Mantri Shra Yogi Maan Dhan Yojana subscriber should not be covered under the new pension scheme, employee state insurance corporation scheme and the employees provident fund organization, and should not be a taxpayer, and these are the persons which is ineligible for the Pradhan Mantri Shra Yogi Maan Dhan Yojana. Now if we further talk about the other features under the Pradhan Mantri Shra Yogi Maan Dhan, then remember that there will be a minimum 3,000 per month after the age of 60 years will be provided as a pension. So remember that. If you talk about, in case of subscribers, this means who are eligible under the Pradhan Mantri, and in case of during the years actually he or she died, then the spouse is eligible and that spouse will get the 50%, means out of 3,000 around 1,500 will be provided to a spouse. Remember that. And this scheme is only applicable to the spouses of each other. If you talk about, in case of husband died, then the pension will provided to wife, and in case of wife died, the pension will be provided to husband, not any other family member. So remember that. So if you talk about the summary of this video, then remember that this is a pension scheme. Pradhan Mantri Shra Maan Dhan Yojana is a pension scheme. It is a central sector scheme, comes under the Ministry of Labour and Employment, and basically LIC is the fund managers and will pay a pension payout. If you talk about the minimum, if you talk about minimum, basically eligible criteria should be 18 to 40 years. If you talk about, very important, and this is basically for the unorganized worker, and basically that unorganized worker whose income is less than 50,000 or 15,000 per month. So remember that. This is very important, and after the age of 60 the 3,000 will get as a pension. So remember this. Thank you guys, hope you like this video. You should subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.